Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to channel. Maverick here with another episode of Yuukoku no Moriarty. So, we continue on with this arc, I do believe from Sherlock's perspective, right? Ending on what we ended on in the last episode with the supposed marriage between John and Mary being threatened, blackmailed, whatever you want to call it, by this Millerton dude. Well, I guess this is just a way to also rope in Sherlock to the entire storyline, so he's not going to get left out, right? He's obviously an integral part of this as well, although it still remains to be seen why Millerton would choose this kind of timing to make such a formidable enemy. So, yeah, let's just get into it right now and see where it goes from here. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Mary and John. Nope. This is Mary, I presume. In 1900s? Maybe. Viva la Republic. Let me see. This is when the Third Republic was formed, right? Around that time? I mean, Napoleon III stepped down after 1870 or something of that, you know, the Franco-Prussian War. So, yeah, technically right now... well... anyways, like... the king of blackmailers. Yeah, but why is he... Wait, what kind of activism? At this point in time, France was a republic, right? I probably shouldn't. Oh, yeah, and I do want to see like why Milverton is so intent on trying to make an enemy, right, out of Sherlock. You would think that, you know, if you want to be a king of blackmailers and whatnot, you want to stay on the down low, unless he wants to somehow break Sherlock as well, prove that he's better than him, right? But I'm just trying to remember right now, like, during that time, I do think it should be the Third Republic at this time. So unless they're talking about activism against the Republic. But they literally, I mean, the banner said Viva la Republic, right? So, I'm really not sure at this point. Bam, bam, bam. The two criminals. Look at her in the back. No, he definitely knows. Straight to the point, eh? No, but again, what are you trying to do here? Oh, yeah, to get the treasure, right? So it really was purely for the treasure? Hmm. I feel like a man. You would think that somebody like this would be using his blackmail for other kinds of stuff, you know, on a more grand scale, right? Like maybe even some stuff related to, you know, on nation state level. So did Milverton do all this without? So maybe the inclusion of Sherlock was actually outside of his plans, I guess. Unless, of course, he's trying to set this up to lure Sherlock in, so he's gonna be able to blackmail him as well. Right? Maybe he's setting up Sherlock? Right. I think Sherlock just figured out everything. I'm still not 100% sure what's going on here. Like, is this a Milverton trap, or is this... Or does he actually realize that the Lord of Crime is butting heads with the King of Blackmail? Alright, so he did set this up. Right, so that was intentional. He wants Sherlock to expose the truth about Whiteley, right? And that would be Moriarty, right? Oh no, wait. Is that Bond? No, it is Moriarty. Oh. Okay, okay. But you know, the entire situation with Whiteley did lead me to believe that something like this would go down. Although I didn't expect them to actually meet face to face. Yeah, it is absurd in a lot of ways. Alright, come on. Yeah, this is what I want. Do you have any evidence? Yeah, obviously he's thought of all those outs, right? I'm just trying to see, like... So yeah, there definitely was something else to this. You know, it would make no sense if someone of his stature tries to do something to Mary just for some treasure. Alright, what's the out? What is the out here? And I gotta say, this Milverton dude, he's really willing to put his life on the line, isn't he? No. Yeah, because that's why we have the novels, right? Because Moriarty is going to go down in history as I don't think Sherlock is going to be the one to pull the trigger, though. No, he's not going to kill. Oh, he's going to fall out of... Yeah, because I don't think Sherlock is going to have a guy's blood on his hands. Oh wait, it was Sherlock? God damn. I'm not sure how I feel about that, though. I always thought it would have been Moriarty that pulled the trigger. No, I did not. and I and I suppose that is why Moriarty is actually pointing his gun at Sherlock, because he's thinking that he's misread his character. Retreat. Okay, so I guess obviously there's like this underground organization that has all these assassins and thieves and what. The Lord of Crime. What? What? Is this also part of his like rebellion, if you will, or his struggle against everything? That makes no sense. I'm sorry, that makes absolutely no sense. No. It's because of the existence of Moriarty that Sherlock chose this road. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Holy crap. Well, he needs to get out of jail first. Wow, guys. Like, I certainly did not anticipate that either. But well, let's talk about it, shall we? See you guys after this. Wow, guys, unexpected indeed. Now, I certainly would not expect them to. Well, I gotta say, on one hand, I am impressed that they did show Sherlock kind of, fighting against these puppet strings put on him by Moriarty and trying to break free and whatnot, but I certainly did not expect them to do it in this kind of manner, right? And wow, I mean, there's just so much to unpack here. Like, some of this stuff, you do see it coming, and some of this stuff, completely, it definitely blew my mind. I thought during that scene they were only trying to, they're trying to make it appear as if Sherlock was the one who fired it, but, by using some clever camera cuts and whatnot. But in the end, it's going to be revealed that Moriarty was the one that shot Milverton and whatnot. But no, instantly you see, it is Holmes, and indeed Moriarty is shocked as well. That is why he instead pointed his gun towards Sherlock there at the very end, because that was completely outside of his expectation. And so let's talk through this episode a little bit, right? So again, going from the parts where yeah, this really makes sense this way. I knew there was going to be a bigger story here, and that is in regards to Milverton, right? I've said at the beginning, like, there's no way that Milverton would take such interest in Mary's story. Like, he's self-important. He has, and with all due respect, he is actually quite important in this current country, in this current world, right? So there's no way that he would be interested in blackmailing some little Mary and John. And heck, even if he does show interest in Sherlock Holmes, again, I don't really feel that he would want to incite him purposely for the sake of nothing, right? There's something specific that he wants, and so that shows up at the very end here, right? The entire premise of this is that he wants Holmes and Moriarty to meet, and he wants Holmes to arrest Moriarty and and do all that. Now, why? Like, how does this benefit Milverton? I don't know. Maybe he just feels like this would make some great news, and then so he can sell more newspapers, gain more influence. I don't know, but you know, the overall mastermind of this overall plan here is obviously as was revealed here, right? And that makes a lot of sense, right? Purposely provoking the Moriartys, purposely provoking Holmes, and bring them together. You gotta admit that Milverton is quite a genius in his own right as well. And indeed, all the way up to the very end there, I do feel that he did play it quite smartly, right? I would say that there's little to no fault in his reasoning, except that, you know, maybe if he did want to have a failsafe, he should have actually prepared the failsafe, right? And once again, I feel like him actually willing to put his life on the line, you know, that enough is enough to earn my respect, right? At the very least, even though, you know, he's a big, bad, evil criminal, he is willing to actually be so self-confident as to go out there and say, yeah, you guys can point your guns at me all you want, you're not going to kill me, right? Now, obviously, he misread the situation, but, you know, to be honest, I would not have thought that something like this would go down either. Oh, I guess more on the Moriarty side, though, whether or not he would really be so he would really be so open to this. I guess that part I didn't, I mean, his name being exposed. I guess I wasn't quite sure about that part. I presumed that they still had more stuff they wanted to do whilst undercover here. But, you know, I guess now is the time for them to reveal their identities and go down in history as the bad guys, right? Which obviously does happen because, you know, it is still based on the Sherlock Holmes story, and Moriarty is an antagonist, right? So, you know, you have that entire part, and it kind of ties in with the previous arc, though I'm not really sure if you can call it a previous arc if it is all, you know, strewn together, right? The entire Whiteley situation, and I may, you know, how it's obviously a reference to Nolan's The Dark Knight, you know, the Batman series and whatnot, how he's basically a parallel of Harvey Dent. Well, at the very end there, his situation was revealed by Batman, right? Or sorry, not by Batman, but exposed by someone else, actually. But Batman was trying to cover up Harvey Dent's crimes and protect his reputation and whatnot, similar to right here, as Moriarty did purposely kill Whiteley, even though he had to die anyways in order to take the blame for the crimes and so on and so forth. But in the end, it was exposed and brought to light into the public, right? So I actually thought it would be a sort of extension of that sort, and you know, Sherlock would face this, would have to face this decision of whether or not to expose the fact that no, Whiteley was actually a bad guy. No, I mean, define bad, right? Because once again, going back, I don't think he really did anything wrong. You could even argue that he slayed a man in self-defense, right? I mean, if you really want to wiggle your way out of that situation, it's not like he went on a big killing spree and killed a lot of people. So, you know, how exactly that taints the reputation, I mean, I'm still kind of on the fence about that. But, you know, the parallels here is obviously that Sherlock should be making a decision whether or not he wants to uncover the truth at the very end there, right? The sort of core idea of I must stick to the truth, or, you know, sometimes some lies are good for the public good, you know, that kind of moral conundrum, if you will. But definitely, you know, what happened right here was completely out of the blue. Now, to be fair, I don't think there's actually, I am showing my limited knowledge of Sherlock Holmes at this point, but I do feel like I don't recall where I heard this or where I saw this, or indeed even if it's true or not. But I do believe that Sherlock Holmes is loath to actually kill, right? Or actually, no, wait. They actually showed it directly within this series as well, right? Back at the end of the first season, Sherlock Holmes was kicking himself over, you know, whether or not he would be willing to purposely kill that guy, even though that guy asked for it, and then for him to gain the answer to who the Lord of Crime was that way, right? They made this whole idea of building up Sherlock to be this guy who does not want to cross that line, right? And I do believe that in the original novels as well, Sherlock never actually killed anyone, right? Again, if there are people who are more familiar with the original works and whatnot, do let me know. But as far as my knowledge, I don't think he ever purposely did something like that, right? Certainly he acted aloof, and he's not exactly the most empathetic kind of guy towards death and destruction and the loss of loved ones and whatnot. But and by and large, he would not be the one to kill someone or take someone else's life himself. And so to change that here, right, and for Sherlock to pull the trigger, on one hand, I do still feel kind of conflicted about this, right? Not only because of the changes to Sherlock Holmes' character it brings, but also to the fact that, is this really Sherlock winning, right? I mentioned at the very beginning how this is his response to trying to break free of the puppet strings that Moriarty has put onto him. But on the other hand, you could also kind of argue that this is, in a way, throwing a tantrum, right? You could also technically view it as Sherlock throwing a tantrum, being like, you don't want me to do this? Well, hell to you. I'm going to do this anyways, right? It does give off a little bit of that kind of vibe, right? Now, obviously, he does have every single reason to do that in order to protect his friend, Watson, to protect their honor, and so on and so forth. But, I mean, even after all, would that... Now, I still stand by my belief that if Moriarty was not involved in all of this, Sherlock would definitely not resolve this case using that kind of method. I feel like he would choose some other kind of out to resolve the entire situation here, and it would not have ended with just trying to kill Milverton, right? Yeah. I really don't think it would happen to be something like that. And not to mention, I still have my problems with that entire storyline, right? The entire blackmail of Mary. I'm not... They kind of mentioned that she participated in, the activism and whatnot. But, okay, I guess what they are trying to imply is that those university students were even trying to overthrow the Republic, question mark? Well, maybe. I mean, I certainly haven't looked into the history of that time, so maybe there were some uprisings against the Republic or something of whatnot. But because I'm fairly sure that the time period for the Sherlock Holmes stories and whatnot, France was in its third republic, right? And it was after the empire led by Napoleon III, who was like a nephew of the original Napoleon Bonaparte. He lost in the Franco-Prussian War, lost terribly actually, and I believe he also died there, right? Or no, he didn't die on battlefield. If I recall, he surrendered and then died shortly after. But in any case, the empire fell apart and France entered its Third Republic. So that was already during the Third Republic and whatnot. So... yeah, I mean, but again, that's kind of beside the point, right? Let's focus back on the actual story at hand. So, in any case, at the very end here, Sherlock, killing Milverton and then even taking the blame for the crime and then willingly going to jail as well. Like, he just seems to be, how can I put this? He's being very stubborn in a way. He's being very headstrong in a way that I'm not sure if it fits, his if it fits the most smartest sort of approach, the most smartest sort of solution to all this. But I think at this point it's more out of frustration more than anything. He's basically like flipping the table and like, your move, Moriarty. And on one hand, I am impressed and surprised and pleased by this kind of entirely exciting and unexpected revelation, but on the other hand, you still get this kind of feeling that it still seems like Sherlock is inferior in some way, just because he's trying to solve this by throwing a tantrum in a way, right? And not really through, cold, hard calculation, and outwitting and outsmarting everyone else as we have known him to do, right? So, yeah, that's basically the conclusion to all this. But anyways, we are not at the end of this season yet. We still got, I believe, 2 more episodes, right, to till the end of this season. So yeah, let's see how exactly Sherlock gets out of this, right? I would have fully expected him to pin the blame on Moriarty. If that's what you want, then fine. you know, I've already made my point. I killed Milverton. You're going to take the blame, and for the rest of my life, I'm going to try to catch you. That's what I was expecting at the very end here. So, how exactly he's going to try and catch Moriarty while in jail? Well, we'll see in the next episode. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.